So today I would like to present on the verse 12.20. So the main theme of my lecture is Gopis are the supreme devotees. So it is based on the verse Bhagavad Gita 12.20. So the shlok goes like Ye tu dharmamritam medam yatoktam paryupasate shraddhadhana matparma bhaktaste yativ me priya. Translation: those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. So, in the purport, Arjuna raises a question to Krishna that who is better, the one who is on the path of impersonal Brahmin or the one who is rendering transcendental service unto your lotus feet. And Krishna says that, and Krishna says the devotional service is the supreme topmost processes, and one can achieve me through that. In the 12th chapter, it is decided that through the good association of devotees, in the 12th chapter, it is decided that through the good association of devotees, one develops an attachment of pure devotional service. And when one develops an attachment for pure devotional service, he accepts a bona fide guru. And when accepts a bona fide guru, he starts to render devotional service in faith and humility. This path, the path of devotional service, is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that the devotional service is the topmost process. Even if one does not take the other processes of spiritual realization, if one takes the path of devotional service, one attains the supreme. And here one does not need to bother about the needs of the body and the soul, because the Lord takes care of it. In the 12th chapter, Krishna explains through a series of verses who is dear to him. In the translation, as you can see, it is written, making me the supreme goal are very, very dear to me. The essence of Bhagavad Gita actually depends that we accept those activities which please the Lord and reject those activities which displeases the Lord. It is also said in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13. Atha pumbedvija shreshta varnashrama vibhagasha swanushtisthasya dharmasya samsiddhi haritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste, divisions, and order of life is to please the personality of God. So, in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13, we saw that it is written that Hari Toshanam. Hari Toshanam means pleasing the Lord. So, Krishna says that one who pleases me in the mood of devotional service is very dear to me. Actually, in Srimad Brihad Bhagavad Gita, Srila Sanatan Goswami tells a very beautiful story of how someone of who is dear to Krishna. So, um, so this actually happens in Kumbh Mela. Uh, this actually happens in Kumbh Mela. There was a great assembly of the sages of devotees, who was a great assembly of sages, and they were actually discussing of who is the most supreme. Uh, okay. So there was a great assembly of devotees who were who were discussing of who is the supreme, who is most dear to the Lord. And in one of those and in one of those assembly, there was our dear sage Narad Muni. So Narad Muni was actually hearing to all this discussion. And when he was hearing this discussion, he was like hearing it. And then at the Dashwamedha Yagna Tirtha, there was this wealthy Brahmin. This wealthy Brahmin was so wealthy that he was holding a yagya. And when he was holding this yagya, he made this beautiful arrangements of ornaments, garlands, uh, uh, dresses of deities, and he was serving these Brahmins, and he held a wonderful, wonderful feast of prasad. When he held this wonderful feast, and he was chanting and he was dancing. He was chanting and dancing, and he was serving this Brahmins. And when he served these Brahmins, he asked that if you could take prasadam now. So he was taking prasad. So Narada Muni saw this great humility and devotion of this wealthy Brahmin. He went to this Brahmin and he said, "Oh, you Brahmin, you are so merciful to the Lord. You are so merciful to the Lord. These great sages have been discussing who is the most merciful to the Lord, and you are the one who is merciful to the Lord." This wealthy Brahmin says, "No, I'm not the most merciful. I come to this. I serve these sages once a year, and it's like how much can I serve to them? Uh, the more I serve to him, the more my desire increases to serve them every day. You should go to King Indrumna. King Indrumna is the one who is having a great kingdom. His residents are actually serving Krishna, and they are chanting the glories. He is apparently serving Lord Jagannath 24 hours a day. He is the most merciful one. So Narada Muni goes to King Indrumna. When he goes to King Indrumna is performing a wonderful yagya. When he is performing a wonderful yagya, he goes and he meets King Indrumna and he says, "Oh, you King Indrumna, you are the most merciful one. Look, your whole population is chanting the glories, and you are even chanting the glories of the name. You are the one who is the most merciful to the Lord." King Indrumna held his ears and he bowed down. He said, "No, no, I'm not the one who is merciful to the Lord." This actually reminds me that recently, months back, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Indrumna Swami Maharaj were giving the Bhagavatam lecture. And when Indrumna Swami Maharaj heard His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj glorifying him, he also held his ears and he's like, "No, no, no, this is not." So this reminded me of him. And then King Indrumna says that I'm not the most merciful one. See, I have this little life and I have so many material miseries, and I can die anytime. It's the demigods who are serving the Lord. They are the most merciful. Look at King Indra. King Indra is the one King Indra is the one where Lord Vishnu comes personally himself to accept the offerings. So Narad Muni leaves the earth and he goes to the heavenly planets. Now, when he goes to the heavenly planets, he goes to King Indra. So he's glorifying King Indra. He's like, "Krishna has become your brother Vaman Dev, and you are so merciful to him." And when he went to King Indra was actually performing a yagya, and the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu himself, was receiving his offerings. King Indra, when he saw that Narad Muni is saying that I am the most merciful one, he says, "No, I'm not the most merciful one. I have caused so much trouble to him. When Krishna stole my Parijat flower, I declared a war against him. When he stopped my puja, I when he stopped my puja, I showered torrents of rain that Krishna himself had to lift Govardhan. And I'm so insecure that anytime someone performs a yagya, I try to destroy him. And I'm attached to this wealth, to this woman, and with thousands of his eyes, he begins to cry. And then he's I'm so attached. You should, but you know who has received the most merciful? Who is the most merciful one? He says, Brahma. Brahma is very dear to Lord Krishna. You should go to him. He is the one. So Narad Muni goes to Lord Brahma, and when he goes to Lord Brahma, he says that no demons can conquer you, and you are not envious, and the Vedas emanate from your mouth. Brahma was like, he was in a very grave mood. He was like, "Narada, why are you speaking of me like this?" Narada was like, "Because you are the most merciful one of Lord Krishna." And since Lord Brahma was his guru, uh, he said that, why are you speaking like this? I'm not the one who received the special mercy. If I was, it depends. Even everyone is receiving the mercy of Lord Krishna. It depends on how one takes that mercy. For example, I don't have a I don't have a good career I don't have a good career. For example, when Hiranyakashipu, I granted him a boon and he troubled his dear devotee Prahlad Maharaj. And when he was troubling his dear devotee Prahlad Maharaj, it was like Narsim Dev wouldn't even look at me. I was offering him prayers and he wouldn't even look at me. And when he finally got pacified and um, when he was leaving the assembly, he said, Brahma, do not give such benedictions to anyone. So, and then what did I do after that? I gave a benediction to Ram, and he kidnapped Mother Sita, kidnapped Mother Sita, and then Ram had to fight Ravana. So you should go to Shiva. Shiva, and I'm also attached to my duties. You should go to Shiva. Shiva, he is the one who can receive your. He is the one who will receive your special. He is the one who is the he is the one who has received the special mercy of the Lord. He has such detachment and he is not attached to anything. He lives naked and he chants the glories of the Lord, and he lives in such detachment. So Narada Muni goes to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva says he went to Kailash Dham, and Lord Shiva is actually um, Lord Shiva is actually chanting the glories, and he's dancing, and he's in such ecstasy. And his wife Parvati, she is playing kartas, and Nandi and all other devotees are chanting. Narada Muni became so happy that he began to dance with them and chant the glories of the Lord. And when Lord Shiva came out of the trance, he glorified Parvati. He said that, you have a very nice way of playing the kartals, and these devotees, you all are very great. And when he saw Narada Muni, he greeted, and he says, why have you come to me? And Lord Shiva says, "Oh, because and Lord Shiva says, why have you come to me? And Narad Muni says, because you have received the greatest mercy, special mercy of Lord. And Lord Shiva says, no, I'm not the one who received the special mercy. If I was the one who received the special mercy, Lord Krishna wouldn't worship me at Rameshwaram. Instead of letting me worship him, he is worshipping me in Rameshwaram. And and when Anirudh fell in love with Usha, I took a side of my devotee and declared a war against him. I am dear to Krishna. Why Krishna wants to dovetail my propensities, and as Shankaracharya, and um, make the devotees take their mind away from bhakti. And I'm doing this tapasya, this gyan kand, this karma kand. Devotees reject this, and I'm the giver of liberation. And the devotees hold their ears um, at the hearing of liberation. And when Narsim Dev came, and when me and Brahma were trying to pacify the Lord, he wouldn't even look at us. We demigods are full of pride. You should actually go to Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is rendering devotional service without any motive. He is the one who is receiving the special mercy of the Lord. So the reason of telling this story is because in the purport it is said very dear to me. So then when Narad Muni actually goes to Prahlad Maharaj, so basically these devotees are having a very great role. They appear to be karma mishra. That means that they have a desire for material success. And Shiva is jnana mishra. He wants mishra bhakt. That means his end goal of his end goal is to Jnana Mishra, his end goal is actually to achieve knowledge. And Prahlad is a Shuddha Bhakt. Anya Bilashita Shunyam, as it is said in Nectar of Devotion. So when Narada Muni went to Prahlad Maharaj, He said that, Prahlad Maharaj, what have I ever done? So he was like, he was glorifying. And then Prahlad Maharaj was like, what have I ever done? Have you ever heard it? Have I ever even rendered service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You see, the Supreme Personality of Godhead always comes to save me, but have I ever done anything to render service unto him? You should actually go to Hanumanji. Hanumanji is the one who has been rendering service to Lord Ram, and he is the most dear to him. He saved, he carried activities in major activities in Ramayana, and he helped Lord Ram so much, and he assisted him in his mission. I'm not assisting him in a mission. I'm simply just remembering him. Hanuman is the one who is assisting him. So when Narada Muni went to Hanumanji, he started to please Krishna, to please Hanumanji, he started to chant the names of he started to chant the names of Ram, like Raghupati, and then Ram, and then Hanuman was chanting his bhajan, and he was so pleased. And when he started to glorify Hanuman, he says, "You have received the special mercy." And when he says it, when Hanuman hears it, Hanuman is like, Narad, I am not the one who has received the special mercy. He allowed me to, of course, Lord Ram allowed me to perform some service to perform allowed me to perform some service, but where is he now? He took the whole Ayodhya, Sagri, Shugriv, and everyone else, and he told me to stay and protect his devotees. And I was just simply his servant. I'm just an animal servant. You, the most merciful ones are his friends, Pandavas. They are the one who are the most merciful. And Krishna is the one who is living with them. And Krishna is the one who has these transcendental exchanges. So when Narad Muni goes to Pandavas, Yudhishthir is actually planning a yagya to call Krishna back. And when when Pandavas see Narad Muni, they receive him, and they offer him wonderful feast of prasad. And then when he says that, I have come because you are the most merciful one. So Pandavas say, no, we are not the most merciful one. God is our service. We have been a disservice to the Lord. When people would hear that how many calamities we have went through again and again, they would not worship Krishna. And Krishna does not come to see us anymore. We have lost everything. We lost everything, and then who would take this devotion if they would hear of us? And then Bhima started to and then Bhima started to say and then Bhima started to say, and then Arjuna started to say, and then Kunti came in the picture, and Kunti was like, if he was merciful, he would give us calamities again and again, and we would see him. But where is he now? He's not coming to see us anymore. It's the Yadus who live in Dwarika, who are very, very dear to him. He lives with them. You should go and see them because they are the most merciful one. So when Narad goes to, so when Narada goes to the, when Narada goes to Dwarika, he goes to this kingdom of Maharaj where where King Ugrasen and Sudharma and all other these kings are sitting. And then they were discussing how Krishna is supposed to be in a meeting, but he is not here yet. So Narada Muni goes and he starts to glorify them, and they said, we are not the most merciful one. It is Uddhava who is the most merciful one. He practically lives with Krishna. They eat together, and sometimes they sleep together, and Uddhava takes his feet and puts on his chest and he sleeps. So it's very important to see that Prahlad Maharaj represents the Shantaraj, service to the Lord in pure devotional service. And Hanuman represents Dasya Ras, which is the more developed stage of bhakti, to do anything and everything to carry out the orders of the Lord in the mood of the servant. And Pandavas represent Sakhyaras. It's like the intimate friendships that there is even forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord that He is the Supreme and we are His devotees. So when he heard that that Uddhava is the most one, Uddhava is the one who is the most merciful. He goes to the palace of Krishna where Uddhava resides. And he sees that Rukmini. Rohini, the mother of Balram, and Padmavati. These all of them are standing outside Krishna's. They're crying. And Uddhava comes outside and he's crying too. And Narada Muni asks, why are you crying, Uddhava? What happened? And Uddhava says that Sri Krishna is in so much pain from because of the residents of Vrindavan. He is not able to get up. And he cries and cries. And when when Narada Muni sees this, so somehow they manage to somehow they manage to take prasad and he starts glorifying Lord, and he starts to glorify Uddhav, that you are a merciful one. Uddhav says that you think I am a great devotee. Well, I used to think that too, but I'm not a great devotee. No doubt that I am the most intimate, close one in the whole Mathura and Dwarka. But Krishna wanted to show me what is real devotion, so he sent me to Vrindavan. And when I went to Vrindavan, I saw the love which the Brajvasis, the Gopis, the Gopas, the residents of Vrindavan have for Krishna. I performed tapasya. I performed tapasya and then I performed tapasya and with great austerity. And with great austerity, so that I can be a blade of grass and these Brajvasis would step on me. And there's no devotion like that of Brajvasis. They live only for Krishna. They are pure, exalted, and in their presence, I don't even have a drop of devotion in myself. And when Krishna hears this, Krishna actually, and Krishna is weeping now. Krishna comes, so Rukmini comes in the picture. Rukmini comes in the picture and she's like, it is true. Even at night, when Krishna is sleeping, he begins to call the name of the cows in such a loving way. Like he has not, in such a loving way, the way that he has not called my name. He has so much love for them and he starts calling their names and the name of gopis, the name of gopas. He calls his friends Sudama, Madhumangal, and then he calls the names of the devotees Radharani, Lalita, Vishakha, Chandravali. And when I look at him, and then he holds, and then he actually um begins to pull my dress, and I look at him, and he's like he starts to hold a flute. He starts to bend his hand like he's holding a flute, and then he starts to bend his form in a three-bent form, and then he starts to call the names of the residents of Vrindavan. And then when he rises, he's crying in separation from them. And when Satyabhama, Rukmini, when Satyabhama comes in the picture, Satyabhama says what Rukmini is saying is actually true. During the day, he actually goes in a trance and he stands motionless. And he starts chanting the names of the devotees. And I asked, what is the problem? He said that the only reason I married you is because you have peace. And then Padmavati jumps into the conversation and she says, why talk about Vrindavan like this? They just worked him like a slave. They never used to give him food. And so that and because of that, he used to steal the food. And when he used to steal the food, they used to tie him with ropes. And then he used to have no shoes to wear. And Rohini comes in the picture and he says, you don't understand the love of Vrindavan. There, there's this ever-flowing Yamuna, the Govardhan Hill, the Kalpavriksha, the creepers, the trees are the great devotees of the Lord. And what to talk about the people? And when Krishna heard this from inside his room, he comes out weeping and he says to Uddhava, let me write a letter to the residents of Vrindavan. And Uddhava says, you cannot do this to them. The last time you wrote a letter, when I took that letter, they were so aggravated to see me and they were so aggravated to see me. They're asking me, where were you? And when you killed Kamsa and when you took all of his wealth and you were told to and gave it to Nanda Maharaj, you sent it to Nanda Maharaj and told him that he should distribute it. You should distribute it to his friends. His friends, Sudama, Madhumangal, they were all so sad. But like, why is Krishna sending me his wealth? We don't want this wealth. We don't want this opulence. We want him. Where is he? And then Nanda Maharaj was like, and then Nanda started to get the hope that Krishna said it to the star and it will come soon. And then Krishna was weeping, listening to this. And then Rukmani Maharaj says that how cruel you are, Krishna. They have given up everything for you, the children, the house, the wealth, the husband, and you send a messenger to them. Why don't you go and visit them? The Brajvati, not to speak of Nanda Maharaj and Sudha Maharani, they cannot eat and sleep. They are always chanting your names. And they say that why did Krishna remove the poison from Yamuna, which Kalya and sort of like he should have just left that poison, and we should have just drank it, and we should have died. And they're traveling in utter suffering, still do not return. And then Balram enters the picture and says, "You sent me as a messenger once, and the condition Gopis, Nand Maharaj, Yashoda Maharaj. I told you the condition, and you said go, but you didn't. And the trees have died, and the Govardhan has decreased, and the grass pastures has shrunk, and Jamuna is dry, and there are no lotus flowers. And the only survivors are beings laying on the grass in agony of separation. And then Krishna cries and Balram cries. And they start to roll on the ground and they cry and they become unconscious. And when the principals, beings, and everything saw it, they started crying so loud that the crying was heard in the kingdoms of Maharaj. The same comes, and when he sees Krishna in such a position, in such a mood, he starts to cry. And they all cry so loud that Lord Brahma descends deep. When Lord Brahma sees it, he takes a decision. He says that uh, we should take him to a mini Vrindavan, and we will tell him that he is in Vrindavan, so that when we will know that he is in Vrindavan, we will get up and we will get out of this mood of separation. So he calls Garud and he says, "Please take Krishna and Balram and no one else will go, and no other principal should go. Only they will go." And Varun takes Krishna, Balram, and Govind. And then Balram somehow gets up and he dresses Krishna as a coward boy. When he dresses Krishna as a coward boy, and then he starts to wake up Krishna. He's like, "Krishna, Krishna, Gopal, get up. It's time. Yashoda Maharani is waiting for us. Why are you sleeping? We are late to the house." And then Govind says, "Yes, Krishna, get up. Uh, she has created wonderful prasad for you." And um, and Krishna gets up and he's like, "Oh, I had this very strange dream, but some other day I will tell you, Mataji." So he gets up and he goes and he sees the deity of Yashoda and Maharaj. And then he sees it, he's like, and when he sees it, he says, um, Yashoda Ma, then Maharaj, I had this very strange day. But I will tell you about this another day. Radha, he says, "Radha Rani, Radha, why are you not talking to me? You know, I saw this strange dream where I was in Dwarka and I married 16,108 beings and I was living in such a palace. And I was crying in separation for you all. But that is a dream. And well, I know you're not talking to me because of this dream, sure. And I shall meet you in the night at Unga." And when and then Balram said, "Go and take bath in Yamuna." And then they go and start to take bath in Yamuna. Krishna notices something on it. He sees the palaces of Vrindavan, he sees the palaces of Dwarika, and he says like, "Where am I? Who am I?" And then Balram starts to narrate that so it's amazing that Balram that Brahmaji with the help of Vishwakarma, he built up Vrindavan for you so that you can get out of the separation. Actually, the principal queens and everyone were behind the tree. They were watching Krishna as a cowherd boy. And in that moment of time, they beholded the sight of him. And beholded the sight of him. And Devaki was so old when she saw the cowherd form of Krishna, Vrindavan Chandra, a breast filled with milk, and Satyabhama and Padmavati, their affection ran and chased Krishna, but others stopped them. And then he began to explain. And then he understood. And then he came back to Dwarika and he was like, where is Satyabhama? Actually, Satyabhama is the pleasure for Krishna. She appears to be jealous, but apparently no one is jealous in spiritual point because she was not really jealous because it was Krishna. The gopis and the residents of Vrindavan feeling Krishna, there was no need of her to be jealous, but she appears to be for the pleasure of Krishna. And Krishna says, let me tell you the nature of my love towards the residents of Vrindavan. Yada yada hi dharmasya brahmani bhakti granta. He says that Brahma, the demigods, they were the ones who was to come down and kill the demons for 11 years. Have spent in the Vrindavan the my happiest years. They were they are so whenever I think of it, they are so intolerant in my heart that the heart starts to fill with love and but I am here to fulfill my duty. My duty is to kill the devils. And let me tell you all the physical dreams that I married you because you remind me enough of gopis to enough to pacify me. And my real love is only for them. You, the dreams, you guys are attached to wealth, opulence, and pride. And they have forsaken everything. And they have forsaken their house, their children, their wealth, their everything for me. So you see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even in his sannyas, even when he was a sannyasi, he was very determined to follow the footsteps of the gopis. People imitate the leelas, but they do not understand the depth of the level of renunciation and purity the gopis and the residents of Vrindavan had. Until we renounce every drop of pleasure for self gratification 24 hours per day and think about Krishna, you cannot even understand a drop of ocean of the glories of the residents of Vrindavan. But in India, it is taken so cheaply. On TV, they portray Krishna and Radha, and people think that it is just some young boy having affairs. But it is not like that. Even great sannyasis, Sukadev Goswami, he worships the gopis. He strived hard to adopt the traits of their spirit. And then Krishna says, you will ask, why haven't I gone back? I want to. He says, I want to, but there are so many devils to kill that even if I leave Vrindavan and go there to visit them, and I will tell them that I'll be back after finishing my business, they won't trust me and they will leave their bodies. And in separation, they are constantly chanting the holy names of mine. I'm always with them because Krishna and his holy names are not different. And even if I went there, it couldn't increase their love because they have already reached the perfect stage. So Krishna sees Narad Muni and he knows the heart of Narad. So he calls Narad Muni and he's like, Narad Muni, I know your heart. Come here. And he says that ask for any boon you want. So Narad Muni says that I want to be engaged in the pure, unalloyed devotional service, and I want to constantly remember your holy names. So he goes back to Kumbh Mela and he says the great sages that the one that we should all meditate on the beautiful form of Madan Mohan, that Krishna is the Lord of the Vrindavan Chandra, and the gopis, Radharani, are the ones who are very, very dear to him. This similar incident actually took with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. When they were discussing, they came to a final conclusion of they came to a final conclusion that of all the gopis, Radharani is the one who is the most beloved to Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself manifested beautiful forms of Radha Krishna. And Shri Krishna, it is said that Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Aate. The Supreme became two. The Supreme Personality of Godhead became two for the pleasure, but they became one in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has demonstrates the love of Radha and Krishna in one form. we can understand the supreme mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For this reason, the wonderful verse, Namo Mahamudaya Krishna Prem Vridaya, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauchase Namaha. That, oh most magnificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself appearing as Sri Krishna by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Radharani and you are widely distributing the pure love of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful one, the most magnificent one. Why? Because no other incarnation has given what Lord Chaitanya has offered the world. Through the congregational chanting of the holy names, through serving, sincerely following the disciplined succession, Lord Chaitanya has come to give us the very blessings of Srimati Radharani's love. And actually, this whole story, Sanatan Goswami explains, it actually took in this way. Maharaj Parikshit for 7 days and the teachings of Sukdev Goswami. And when he was about to leave this world, his mother, Uttara, who was a very pure devotee, approached him and requested that you have heard this great narration from the Guru. It's the vast ocean of nectar. Please, in the few minutes you have before you leave this world, explain to me the essence. And when Sukdev Goswami's reply said that the story of Narada Muni going to various places to show how the Bhagavatam developed from various levels of bhakti. Karma Mishra, which were the demigods, Jnana Mishra, which were Shiva, and Shuddha Bhakti, Prahlad Maharaj, Shantaras, Shantaras, Prahlad Maharaj, Dasyaras, Hanumanji, Sakhyaras, Pandavas, Vatsalyaras, Yashodamai, and ultimate Madhuryaras, and how Sukdev Goswami actually, his explanation was culminated, and in what Lord Chaitanya has come to give the world. So he has given us the beautiful. So this is the essence of knowledge, to learn, sincerely serve the Lord and the Guru. Because when we serve the devotees of the Lord is most pleased with us. The Gaudiya Acharyas are all eternal associates of the Lord in Vrindavan. And by serving their instructions, we are also matched. Wanted to say, given a place in the holy land of Vrindavan to eternally assist as the servant. So, as it was said in the shlok, who is very, very dear to him, who is very, very dear to Krishna, it's actually Radharani and the gopis and the residents of Vrindavan. So now I would like to present the mood and the mission. The mood was the mood humility, that is to always please Krishna. The desire to please Krishna, as we saw in the past, was please Krishna. And we should have the respect for the highest devotion, gopis love, and do not take it cheaply, and to be the servant of the devotees. The mission is to chant the holy names of the Lord and establish bhakti as the highest path. As it is said in the purport that there are so many processes, but when one takes the devotional service of the Lord, and when one takes the devotional service of the Lord, he is actually he is actually fulfilling the Lord directly himself, and to distribute the spiritual knowledge and establish the holy name as the process. Hare Krishna.
What is the connection with this particular verse?
Probably in the translation, it is said that that one who adopts the principle of devotional service is very dear to him. So this pastime was necessary to understand that gopis still hold the highest position, and we should be the servants of them, and then only we can only be successful in this human life and attain Krishna. When it is written in the purport that through good association of devotees, one develops an attachment of devotional service, we can
Yes.
see the example of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj, that in the association of a great devotee like Narad Muni, they developed pure love for Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Mataji, just about this topic, how this mood and mission and your personal application, some personal experiences about related to this topic, if you can share, and some mood and mission, how it is related to this topic, you can discuss.
Prabhuji, in the mode it is written humility. Sometimes we as bhaktas, we have false pride and we start to think that, oh, I'm rendering so much service. But as we see that the gopis, they were so dear to Krishna, they had personal association. They never had such pride for, they never had any pride. And we are just a small grain of dust and we start to think that, oh, I'm rendering service to Krishna. Krishna is very dear to me. Sometimes we really forget the aspect of humility, of being a humble servant. Uh, when we start to serve devotees in the start, and then when we come to such a position where when we start to expect service from everyone. So I think this is the point where false ego, false pride comes in picture, where we start expecting. The gopis never expected anything. They really had true love. As Krishna, as I said in the pastime, he says to the queens that you are attached to wealth, but the gopis, they are not attached to anything. So the mood to be humble, um, and to humbly serve uh, aligns with this pastime. And personal application. Sometimes sometimes I also feel I really like to do kirtan, and sometimes I feel that I'm doing kirtan, and the place where I live, not many people are actually the following kirtan. So when I do the kirtan, I start to think no one is following. So I start to think, why are people not following? They should follow the kirtan. I'm trying my best here. So sometimes my false ego gets in the picture, and I start to forget that I'm actually doing it for Krishna, not for anyone else. So I should, in my sadhana, I should actually, I ground myself, and I'm like, I'm doing this for Krishna. I'm not doing it for anyone. Similarly, when we are rendering various services, so we should also think that we are doing it for Krishna, not for anyone else, not for it to show it to anyone. So we are doing it for our Guru and Gaurang. We can see the example of Prabhupada also, where whenever he was preaching so much, he always said that he is always doing it for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So I always, and even Uddhava, he used to think that he is the great devotee, but Krishna sent him to Vrindavan to ground him. He's like, no, you are not the great devotee. That is your illusion. Vrindavan, the residents of Vrindavan are the great devotees. So the main point is like to be humble and to always remind ourselves that uh, we don't matter much. We can only, Krishna won't see us, and we can only make Krishna see us when we serve his devotees uh, without any ulterior motive or anything. Hare Krishna.